It was a cold winter night. There was thick fog all around, and silence was spread far and wide. I and my 3 friends, Rahul, Vinay, and Sakshi, went on a long drive. We always loved to visit strange and mysterious places. This time, we had chosen a place which gave us goosebumps just by hearing about it. It was a mysterious road. There were many stories about that road. It is said that no one who goes there ever comes back. No one had written anything about that road. No one knew about it properly. We only knew that the road was in the middle of a forest, about 50 kilometers from our city. We started our journey at around 7 o'clock p.m. It was a winter evening, so the sun set early. I took the responsibility of driving the car while Rahul, Vinay, and Sakshi were sitting behind. As we moved away from the city, the darkness became dense. There was no light except the headlights of the car. Only the shadows of trees and strange sounds were heard all around. Do you really think that this road is so dangerous? Vinay said lightly. I asked with a smile. We have come here to find out. Sakshi said excitedly. Yes, but we have to be careful, I said seriously. Let's say that many people have disappeared here. After a journey of about an hour, we reached the place from where the mysterious road started. There was an old broken board at the beginning of the road, on which it was written in faint letters that going ahead from here is prohibited. Oh, this has become even more exciting, Rahul said. I took a deep breath and turned the car on the road. The road was very narrow and in bad condition. There were only trees all around, and in between, we were hearing strange sounds. It seemed as if someone was watching us. We must have traveled about 20 kilometers on the road when suddenly the engine of the car stopped. I tried many times, but the car did not start. What happened? Sakshi asked worriedly. I don't know. The engine suddenly stopped. I said maybe we should proceed on foot from here. Rahul suggested. We decided to get out of the car. As soon as we got out of the car, a gust of cold wind passed through our body. It felt as if someone had warned us. We started moving ahead in the light of the torch. The road was very scary and terrifying. Suddenly, Sakshi shouted and said, "Look, there is something there." We turned the light of the torch in that direction. The structure of an old ruined house was visible. The house looked very scary. It seemed as if it had been deserted for many years. Maybe we should go and see this house, Vinay said. We reached near the house and pushed the door. We went inside. The atmosphere inside was very strange. There were old pictures on the walls and spider webs at various places. It seemed as if we had entered another world. We were moving inside the house when suddenly we heard a terrifying sound. We looked back and saw that the door had closed on its own. It seemed as if someone was stopping us from going out. What was happening? Sakshi asked in fear. I don't know, but we have to get out of here as soon as possible. I said. We ran towards the door, but the door was not opening in any way. Then suddenly, we saw a shadow. It was slowly moving towards us. The heartbeat of all of us increased. Run, Rahul shouted. We ran in the other direction, but there was no other way in that house. That shadow came closer to us. We all felt that now our death is certain. As soon as that shadow came closer to us, it extended its hand and caught Sakshi. Sakshi started screaming loudly, but we could not do anything. Suddenly, that shadow disappeared, and Sakshi also disappeared with it. How can this happen? Vinay said, trembling. He said we have to get out of here somehow. We saw a window which was open. We somehow managed to get out of that window. As soon as we came out, we saw that our car was still standing there, but smoke was coming out of it. We ran towards the car and tried to fix it somehow. Finally, the car started, and we quickly left from there. But we knew that we had lost Sakshi. There was only one question in all our minds. Who was that shadow? And why did it take Sakshi? We were all silent throughout the way. No one had the courage to say anything. Finally, we came back to the city. But after that night, darkness engulfed all our lives. We never forgot that road and that house. Many days have passed, but that incident is still fresh in our memories. We all tried to forget that incident in our own way, but that scary night always haunted us. We tried to gather more information about that mysterious road, but we did not find anything. People of the city still talk about that road, but no one dares to go there. The road is still the same, deserted and scary. Maybe it will remain mysterious forever. It will always remain in our lives. That night became a dark spot that we could never erase. Sakshi's face, her screams, that shadow. All this does not let us sleep at night. We all try to move forward in our lives, but that fear always remains with us. Maybe that road and house were victims of some old curse, or maybe there was some power there which was pulling us towards it. We will never know this, but one thing is certain. That night and that May road was the most terrifying experience of our life, and thus that scary night of our life remained a mystery. Perhaps we will never be able to know that truth, but that fear, that terror, that feeling of death will never leave us. The memories of Sakshi had left a deep mark in our hearts. With the passage of time, the only way to face our fear and solve the mystery of Sakshi's disappearance was to take us back to that mysterious road. One day, Rahul suggested that we should go back. We have to know the truth about Sakshi. Vinay and I thought about Rahul's idea. We were all afraid to relive that night, but the desire to know the truth compelled us. We decided to go on the same road again. This time, we were even more cautious. We took more equipment and weapons with us. At 7:00 p.m., we started the same journey again. Our hearts were beating fast, but we were determined. After an hour, we reached the same ruined house. This time, we were even more cautious than before. We opened the door of the house slowly and entered inside. Everything was the same, was as we last saw investigating in the ruins. While investigating, we found a secret door which we had missed last time. The door was very old and had strange symbols on it. We opened the door and saw a narrow staircase going downwards. When we climbed down the stairs, we felt that we had reached a big cave. It was dark all around and strange sounds were echoing. At the end of the cave, we found an old article written in some ancient language. Rahul tried to translate that language with his laptop. It is written here that this place is suffering from an old curse. A spirit is imprisoned in this cave which wants to sacrifice the people who come here. Rahul said that when we moved further into the cave, we found Sakshi in a corner. She was lying unconscious but was alive. We picked her up and tried to escape from there. As soon as we came out of the cave, we saw the same shadow again. But this time, we did not give up. We talked to the spirit and found out that she was imprisoned in this cave for years and wanted freedom. We prayed to the spirit and promised her freedom. The spirit accepted our prayer and allowed us to come out safely. We took Sakshi back to the city. Slowly, Sakshi regained consciousness, and he told us about the frightening experiences inside the cave. We all together handed over that ancient article to the authorities so that the mystery could be solved and no one else would go on that road in future. Our friendship became even stronger. We tried to overcome the impact of that scary night by supporting each other. Now that mysterious road had become a bitter memory for us, but Sakshi's return gave us a new hope. We made a new beginning together with Sakshi. We learned from that incident that sometimes one has to face one's fears to know the truth. That night and that mysterious road remained a part of our lives, but we overcame it and took a step in a new direction.